Hi, this is Renee and Kent Miller.
And today we're going to talk about Vortexes and Triangulations, Chapter 4, pages 77 through 79.
And this is actually going to be a remake, because the first video was a little bit confusing, and we're going to try and make this a little bit more exact.
Okay, let's start with vibrations.
So we're going to be talking about vibrational vortexes. And these are vortexes that transmit vibrations through the vortex. Specifically, we're talking about from the Earth to a receiving end. And these vibrations, everything's vibration. So events are vibration, our thoughts have vibration. Everything that happens, the music, noise, everything has vibration.
Okay. And a vortex is an opening for the vibration.
It's a portal for that vibration to get from point A to point B. And so that could be also our prayers. So from getting our prayers from here,
which is communication,
to the other side. Communication. And these vortexes also transmit our misperceptions, our wants, our desires,
events,
any event. And it doesn't have to be anything that we think of as big, like an accident or something like that. This can be our thoughts, it can be misperceptions, anything like that is being traveling from one side, which would be the Earth, to the receiving end.
Each person that does a meditation or prayer, whichever you want to call it, actually create their own vortexes for communication. I mean, they're small, they create these openings.
And so a vortex, when you think about a vortex, is kind of like a tornado, It's spinning around in a circle like that in the atmosphere, and we because there's not sand and dust and everything like that blowing around in it, we can't see it.
These are unseen. They create, like I said, each person creates their own communication vortex.
So it's within the atmosphere, and it's picking up events within a given area. And the event in the area is giving off a particular vibration, and it is being picked up by this vortex, and it's traveling through the vortex to the other side. And other beings, spiritual beings, can pick that up and kind of monitor what's going on here too, right?
Vortexes move outwards, just like throwing a rock on a pond, and the rings on the pond move outward until they reach our communication as humans. It hits the arch, and we can show how that works. The arch directs the vibration, communication, in a circular rotation.
A counterclockwise
rotation.
So I'm going to show you this here. It's a drawing that we made. And so we're talking about, say, here's the Earth. And this could be any vibrational event.
You're standing there, the vortex is open, and the arch is created
so
for
here,
communication to go through.
Here is an arch. You can't see it. It's in the atmosphere. And then the vibration comes up and hits this arch, and it directs that vibration into a particular circular pattern that travels counterclockwise. And then it starts to rotate up. Okay? But what happens when you have several events going on at one time?
You have some vortexes that keep the communication within its parameters, and only one communication at a time. In other words, if I create a vortex, somebody else can't interfere in my vortex. If it's an event that's outside of me, it creates its own atmosphere, its own vortex for the event.
So these are vibrational atmospheres passing through a portal, but multiple can be going through this portal or this vortex at the same time. So this is representative of one vibrational event making its way through a vortex. And there's these sub-vortices that are positioned at various places within the main vortex.
Now, we talked about there are many types of vortex, vortexes for travel, vortex for communication, etc., etc. So right now we're going to just talk about vortexes for communication.
And this is communication of events, thoughts, desires, wants, prayers, that sort of thing, from the earth to the other receiving end.
Yeah.
And so these small subvortices, they expand outward, and what their job is you can see here, we've got them positioned along this vibrational event. Say it's a prayer. Each subvortice is positioned on either side of this vibration that's passing through the main vortex. And what they do is they expand out, and they're keeping this vibration from expanding outward and diluting, like rings in a pond, diluting with other vibrational events that may also be within the vortex.
Okay. Now, with that information, by vibration continue to expand outward, like she was saying, and they continue until they hit the exterior vortexes, which keep them within the parameters. Now, subvortices are positioned all along in the main part to keep it close in there, but it goes beyond that. There are vortices outside that keep it within the parameters.
And so it's to keep the one event separated from another event.
Right,
so it reaches.
They dilute each other out if you don't.
Yeah, it's like, if you have rings in a pond going out two different rings, and they're going to overlap, and these rings are going to mix with each other. You don't want that happening with these events. You want each event to be encapsulated so it gets from point A, the earth, to the receiving end, point B, encapsulated as one single event.
Yeah, now, so all these vortexes are not sacred. Even though man has declared them as sacred, they are not sacred. So like on Mount Shasta, people think it's sacred. Well, it's the flow of the magma within that mountain that creates this emotional feeling that it's sacred, but it's not.
But that's something separate than a vortex. That's the magma flow in the iron core, the iron ore in that magma flow.
Vortexes, like in Sedona and like in Mount Shasta, it creates its own. And man says, oh, this is sacred and that's sacred. The only sacred place in all the universe is the communication that the Creator puts out directly to the ancients. That is the only sacred.
And what's that called?
It's a universal vortex.
That's right. So why does man feel these places and then deem them as being sacred? And so they're feeling with a vortex. If you're standing near a vortex and you feel the emotion that is a residue left over from all the communication of these events that have passed through that vortex, it leaves this emotional residue. And so people who are particularly sensitive can be there, present at this vortex, and feel it. And because they feel this vibration, they call it sacred.
They set out the word, this vortex over this place is very sacred and sensitive. And others go there, even though they don't feel anything, they don't want to be left out, and they'll declare it as sacred.
But they're not sacred. So we're being told that there really isn't anything on the earth that is sacred.
Okay.
So it's only this universal vortex that is communication that is directly between the Creator and the ancients.
Triangulation creates a deviation in the molecular flow from point to point.
So we've also drawn a picture. And so if you have like two people, like Kent and I, and we're meditating, but say these two people have not meditated much before, and their energy level is not as high as like someone who has had a lot of experiences and growth, such as Kent, and he can channel pretty much between just the two of us. But say somebody else might need an extra energy boost. When you have two people, this energy is in a movement back and forth between point A and point B, okay? When you bring in a third person, this excites the molecular flow, the molecular particles. It excites them, and it speeds up the movement, the flow, and it creates this counterclockwise movement, just like we see with the vortexes. So when you're meditating for communication, communication with a higher self, you want to designate one person to do that, because when everyone else wants to participate at the same time, it gets a little confusing.
And that gets very detailed when other people want to participate, just want to come in on, because if you will not be able to contact or get in touch with your higher self unless everybody in the group has a clear mind. No problems, no issues. There's thinking about have to be there at such time on such a date, family problems, etc. That has to be all clear, gone.
The other thing is that when you have three people who agree to meditate together like this, they all have to have an open mind about what they're doing. And so you can't really bring somebody in who doesn't really believe in all this and doesn't really want to participate, because it just interferes with the actual happening and making this communication with the higher self occur. So this movement is excited particles moving in a counterclockwise direction and creates a particular vibrational level.
A geometric force.
And it has a particular geometric formula that's attached to that vibrational level. And there's various levels. And so what we wanted to do was bring in a musical scale, just a simple musical scale. This is piano music. And what we have here are two different vibrational scales.
The lower
this is
C,
music.
The lower grouping of the C of the piano and the upper grouping of the C of the piano.
Okay, so this is going to be your lower tones. This is going to be a higher tone here. Even though this may be a C, this is a higher C, okay?
The middle C.
And so, but it has a higher sound, a higher tone. And just to draw the parallel, you're going to use these lower tones for a specific purpose, and you're going to use these middle tones, which are slightly higher, for a specific purpose.
Now you cannot hear these tones when you do this, but
you're talking about meditating.
Yes.
Yeah. So in the musical scale, if you can draw the parallel to when we're meditating and we have three people, we're creating different vibrational levels. So say this level might be parallel to just who we are individually, our vibration. But when we bring in three people to meditate, and while we're meditating, we raise our vibration. So we're bringing that vibration up to a different level, right? And so that level can be used for meditating. Now there's other various levels, and they're used for other various things. So what are those things? We don't know.
No, you don't know.
So this particle stream is accelerated, and it magnifies the intensity, and it creates various geomagnetic patterns. Those geomagnetic patterns have a geometry, a geometric formula attached to them, and its specific vibrational level. They are used for various things, and you will see that in a lot of the ancient texts that they talk about threes a lot, right? Have you noticed that? And so those are used for different purposes, but we do not know what those other purposes are.
Yeah, remember, the language of the universe is mathematics. a lot of people, engineers, stuff like that, will like that.
Yeah.
But
And with the math, everything has a
The formula.
corresponding formula. It has a corresponding vibration. It has a corresponding tone. So it has sound with it, even though we may not be able to hear that sound. So everything is related. So all other vortexes, what are they used for?
well, we just already covered that. They're used for many things, including travel. And they're used for messages, communication, travel, events
And eventually,
outside of ourselves. Even.
all of this it makes its way to God the Creator. And so it's kind of a way of keeping.
It makes its way to the receiving end. And it may or may not be the Creator, but the receiving end, there is a receiving end to each vortex.
Right. And so this includes our misinterpretations, our misperceptions, so that the other receiving end knows where we are in our level of understanding and can assist us in our corrections.
With that information, when we talked about what is the real use of the vortices or the vibrational vortices?
So what we just described is it's for our purposes, for our intent and purposes, it's for communication purposes.
And that's all we're going to discuss right now, because that's what we know most about.
But we're being told that most of the vortices now are not being used for their original intended purpose, and that man has turned them into this, how did they word it? That it was a valueless, superficial thing. We're just making money off of the Bible.
Yeah, it's a money maker. It becomes a money maker for many.
We have depleted the value of the vortexes.
So many
through money making.
Vortexes have moved from what they were.
That's right. And even in Sedona, we've been told that they have moved out of Sedona, which is famous for its vortexes. Why did it move out of Sedona? Because it was being misused. It was turned into this valueless money-making scheme. So they've actually moved. Anyway, we hope that we have clarified this and made it a little more understandable than the first video.
The last thing she wrote on her notes, I looked at it and I said, why did she write turned into monkey making schemes? It's not monkey, it's money.
He misread it wrong.
Yeah. Anyhow,
so
we hope
peace be with you on your journey, and join us next time. We will progress forward. I think we're going to be starting with chapter 7, and we'll
6.
No, we finished 6. So
okay.
We're going to be starting with chapter 7. This, will be put into chapter 4. So
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy your
remember
week.
Remember the book is called The Augmentation of Man, a Study in Renaissance.
And don't forget to hit that subscription button. Yes, subscribe, and you will get the videos as soon as they come out. And if you hit the bell, it will send you a notification tone so that you know when it comes in your inbox. Thank you.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.